evening. I hope you have had a lovely day. Thank you for joining us on KUTV News at 9. My name is Anki Darisumbat. There's a lot lined up for you ahead of the bulletin, but first, let's have a look at the highlights. Court names a negotiating team of 5 ahead of the dialogue with Jubilee set on the IEBC stalemate. The Supreme Court puts off Justices Rawal and Tannoy's hearing as Law Society of Kenya and Judicial Service Commission fail to agree on their retirement age. Kenya and Turkey target to grow their bilateral trade volume to $1 billion within 5 years. And in sports, Lionel Messi appears in tax fraud trial in Spain. Welcome. The Supreme Court has moved the hearing of the retirement age case pitting Justice Kalpana Rawal and Philip Tannoy to Monday next week to allow the Judicial Service Commission JSC seek an out-of-court resolve. Parties in the retirement dispute, however, failed to agree on mediation as a medium to resolve the Supreme Court judges' retirement age row. As Ann Mashari reports, a 2-hour meeting failed to reach an agreement with lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi for the Judicial Service Commission, saying the Law Society of Kenya LSK proposal was no longer an option.
The Supreme Court has allowed the Law Society of Kenya to try to resolve the row of a judge's retirement age through mediation with the Chief Justice Willy Mutunga, allowing parties in the case in which Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal and suspended Judge Philip Tannoy are challenging their retirement to meet the CJ's chambers for mediation. The outcome of the mediation meeting between lawyers for Justices Rawal and Tannoy, the Judicial Service Commission and the LSK reported back to court at 2:30 p.m.
The appearances are as follows. Senior Counsel Firoz Noroji appears with Kirago Kemani for the applicants.
Nothing substantive, my lord, was put on the table for the respondent to look into, not a single proposal. We have contacted our clients. We have briefed them of the various issues.
CJ, however, agreed with arguments by lawyers for the judges and the LSK that there was nothing wrong with giving mediation a chance because it is an approach that is encouraged in the Constitution. Activist Okia Omtata said mediation should only take place after the 2 judges agreed to withdraw their appeals. He has proposed a mediation approach where the 2 judges are allowed to stay in office until their successors are appointed. In his approach, Mr. Omtata wants Dr. Willy Mutunga to be allowed to declare a vacancy in the position held by Judges Rawal and Tannoy so that the JSC can advertise their vacancies and start the recruitment process. Parties will resume hearing at the Supreme Court on Monday next week. It has been a matter of concern for quite some time now, and this raises the questions of whether the Law Society of Kenya and the Judicial Service Commission will come to an agreement come Monday. Ann Machari, KUTV in Nairobi County.
Thank you, Ann Macharia, for that update. Moving on, Court Coalition has made good their Madaraka Day promise to name 5 legislators to represent them in dialogue over controversial issues on reformation of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. The list includes 2 senators and 3 members of parliament. They have now thrown the ball to Jubilee Government Court to name their dialogue committee on the issue. The president and his deputy have, however, remained adamant that the constitution must be used to solve the IEBC stalemate. The Court Coalition, on the other hand, have given the Jubilee until Sunday to initiate talks, failure to which they will march back to the streets.
The opposition coalition has released the names of its negotiating team for talks on the reforming the Electoral Commission. CORD nominated 2 senators and 3 members of parliament to the team expected to initiate talks on the impasse over the composition of the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission, IEBC. The team includes Siaya Senator James Orengo, Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama, Togaren MP Eseli Simiyu, Mbalambala MP Abdul Kadir Aden, and Mombasa County Women Representative Mishi Mpoko. They also named 2 joint secretaries, Paul Mwangi and Grace Katasi, who will facilitate the talks. This comes after they made a promise yesterday that they will name the committee to initiate the talks with the Jubilee government.
Today we have selected a team consisting of 2 senators and 3 members of the National Assembly. These people are representing the coalition. So I let the Jubilee coalition to also nominate 5 members to which there are 5 members. We want this to be done and want an assurance from Jubilee by tomorrow that they are going to honor the agreement.
While the leading opposition stated that they will not settle for a parliamentary process in seeking a solution to the impasse, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto have accused the opposition of attempting to circumvent the late constitution procedure of removing IEBC commissioners, saying the only way to go is through the parliament.
Waombe viongozi wote tujadiliane, tuheshimiane, tufuate sheria ambazo ziko, na Kenya itafaulu. Na Kenya itakuwa nchi ya kuheshimika, wananchi wa kuheshimika, nchi ambaye itaweza kukuza uchumi wake na kuboresha maisha ya wananchi wetu wote.
You have a problem with the IEBC. You have a problem with the judiciary. You have a problem with parliament. What are your credentials insofar as the rule of law and constitutionalism is concerned? What then do you believe in? I think these are the hard questions that we must ask ourselves as a nation.
The Jubilee government spokesperson Manoa Esipisu had said earlier that the Jubilee government had made submissions to the parliamentary team, rubbishing the proposal to make committee for dialogue on the commission.
Mimi najua mazungumzo ya bunge are guided by the standing orders. Ukifika huko bunge ni kudebate unless they want to tell us wanataka engage on a kamkunji on how we are going to govern and lead this country. Haiwezekani. Sisi tunajua hata ile national accord mazungumzo yalianza mtaani Serena, kina Orengo nikaa Serena.
Tunawaambia kama hakuna mabandiriko sisi hatutaenda katika uchaguzi, na kama tunaenda siwadanganyi wala na mtume, tutakuwa na uchaguzi wetu upande huu na wao watakuwa na upande huu.
CORD has, however, insisted that they will push through with calls for the removal of IEBC commissioners from office, saying Jubilee has until Sunday to heed their calls, failure to which they will resume their protest on Monday. Irene Mwangi.
Now, the IEBC stalemate issue has been a heated up issue for like 3 weeks now. We hope that they come to a consensus for the sake of Kenyans, as various people lost their lives, and we anticipate that the IEBC is fair and very fair for the Kenyans come 2017. Now, that story is the lead and the source of our viewpoint question tonight, where we ask you, after CORD naming its team and Jubilee yet to do the same, do you think the two sides will reach a consensus on IEBC stalemate? After CORD naming its team and Jubilee yet to do the same, do you think the two sides will reach a consensus on IEBC stalemate? Continue to send your views and SMSs to our SMS number 22766, that is 22766, and I will sample that at the end of the bulletin. But still moving on tonight, the tribunal investigating the conduct of suspended Supreme Court Justice Philip Tannoy is adjourned following a dispute over a National Intelligence Service NIS report. The report was heavily relied on by the Judicial Service Commission JSC to recommend investigations against the judge. Justice Tannoy's lawyer Fred Ngatia declined to cross-examine JSC Ombudsman Kennedy Bidali until it is ascertained that it was the NIS that authored the report. He argued that he would not question Mr. Bidali in a blind manner until the NIS is summoned to say whether it was behind the report. The report in contention is what the JSC relied on to have Justice Tannoy face a tribunal. It contained information that suggested that they and the accused and his accuser, Geoffrey Kiplagat, had meetings and phone conversations. The report was allegedly given to Mr. Bidali by an unnamed NIS officer. Moving on, Kenya and Turkey have set an ambitious target to grow their bilateral trade volume to the $1 billion mark within the next 5 years. This was one of the outcomes of a bilateral meeting between President Uhuru Kenyatta and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey at State House, Nairobi today.
Turkish President Recep Erdogan came to Kenya in the company of 135 top business people from Turkey to explore ways of increasing the commercial engagement with their Kenyan counterpart. President Kenyatta and President Erdogan said the ambitious target can easily be met through the adoption of innovative business models such as buy, operate and transfer, locally known as BOT, and public-private sector partnership, PPPs.
Over the years, our countries have cooperated on a wide range of issues, ranging from trade and security to education and health. Many Kenyan students have benefited from scholarships to study in Turkey, and many of our citizens have been helped through Turkish development assistance, and many of our goods also are enjoyed in their market.
In the meeting, President Kenyatta urged Turkey to invest in Kenya's renewable energy sector, infrastructure development, agro-processing, irrigation, ICT, oil and mining, the manufacturing sector, as well as LAPSET project and Konza Techno City. President Erdogan, on his part, said the government of Turkey is ready to support Turkish business people to invest more in Kenya.
The ties that bind our nation have only been increasing and growing stronger. Trade between our two countries has increased from about $41 million in 2009 to $148 million in 2015. However, both President Erdogan and myself have stated that this is still far below our own expectations, and we have committed ourselves to see these figures increase exponentially over the next few years.
On the issue of Somalia, the two presidents agreed to continue working closely with the stabilization of Somalia. The Turkish leader also called on the international community to shoulder its responsibility when it comes to the issue of refugees. President Kenyatta and President Erdogan also oversaw the signing of 3 bilateral agreements to improve cooperation between the two countries. The 3 agreements signed today include MOUs between the Ministry of Water and Irrigation and the Yepi Makezi to support the implementation of the Greater Mount Elgon Bungoma Busia Multipurpose Water Project. This brings to 13 the number of bilateral agreements signed between Kenya and Turkey so far. Noah Kipkemboi, KUTV.
Thank you, Noah Kipkemboi, for that update. Now, we are going to take a very short break, but before we do, we had asked you tonight on our viewpoint question. After codenaming its team and Jubilee yet to do the same, do you think the two sides will reach a consensus on IEBC stalemate? After codenaming its team and Jubilee yet to do the same, do you think the two sides will reach a consensus on IEBC stalemate? Continue to send your views and your SMSs to our SMS number 22766. That is 22766, and I will surely sample that at the end of the bulletin. KUTV News at 9 takes a very short break. Don't go away. We come back with more. Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned. We move on tonight. 2 suspected robbers suspected to be operating stolen motorbikes have been lynched by a mob in Nyamira County after one of them was caught red-handed with a stolen motorbike. The incident, which took place in Nyamira town, saw residents complain of an influx of criminals who terrorized them, even as area police continued to release those arrested.
Ametoka ndani 2 weeks ago. Huyu anaitwa Sungura. Osusu. Haya, kuna mwingine pia wamesema anaitwa nini? Huyo mjamaa ametoka ndani juzi. Visa zake ni za kustaajabu sana. Ameua watu wengi. Lakini imefikia sasa ametoka ndani karibu miezi 2 imepita. Sasa wananchi kama wamechukulia sheria mkononi mwao, wameona huyu mjamaa anatesa watu hawalali.
Hawa wezi wamekuwa wakitusumbua kila kuchao. Kila kukicha tunaamka tunasikia ni visa vya wizi. Tukiamka ni visa vya wizi. But hata serikali haichukui hatua yoyote.
Now, what do you do when there is a fire? This question may seem easy to answer, but there is so much that one needs to know so as to be safe during such a situation. Our reporter Nancy Okware sought to find the answer and prepared us the following report.
There are 6 types of fires. Type A is caused by paper and wood. Type B caused by paraffin. Type C is caused by flammable gases. Type D is caused by metal and aluminium. Type E, electrical apparatus and cooking fat. Different fires are extinguished using different extinguishers, as Mr. Buluma, a fire marshal, explains. There are also 4 types of fire extinguishers, as Buluma further explains.
We have the dry powder, which has a blue sticker, and the word is written dry powder. It's used to put out, it is a multi-purpose firefighting equipment. It can fight any kind of fire. It can put out fuel fires, electrical fires, and even ordinary fires, but it has some limitation. The CO2 extinguisher with a black sticker and the word CO2 written is a carbon dioxide extinguisher. It's mainly used for putting out electrical circuit fires.
In an event a building you are in catches fire, these are the measures you should take to ensure your safety.
Total and immediate evacuation from a building that is on fire is the safest. Okay? And we say, in case of fire, the most important tool to remember is that one should stay calm and you should know all your exits.
And the day could not go without an elaboration on how to use a fire extinguisher.
You pull, you aim, you lift the equipment, you squeeze. This is where you squeeze. This is the carrying handle, and this is where you squeeze. And then you sweep.
Now this is known as the fire assembly point. This is where everyone that has been evacuated from a building that was on fire assembles for accountability purposes. Nancy Okware, KUTV.
Thank you, Nancy Okware, for that. Remember, it is very important to know how to use a fire extinguisher. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. But moving on to some county news tonight, the body of a 47-year-old man who went missing 2 weeks ago has been recovered at Narok River at Nchura village in Narok North. The man is alleged to have drowned after going on a drinking spree with his age mates 7 kilometers from his home. Meanwhile, a case in which Garissa Governor Natif Jama was supposed to appear for a plea in a case in which his accused failed to off after the court said it has no jurisdiction. Resident Magistrate Victor Asio said that he has no jurisdiction to deal with the matter. Here's news from the counties. Naivasha town was left sinking in garbage after over 100 workers from the sub-county downed their tools over 6 months unpaid salaries. The workers from the Department of Environment and Public Service took to the streets of the town carrying twigs and banners before dumping garbage on various roads. Various MCAs from Naivasha supported the workers and hit out at the county executive in charge of finance for the current crisis. But speaking on phone, Nakuru Governor Kinuthia Mbugua attributed the crisis to a technical failure, adding that the workers would be paid immediately. The body of a 47-year-old man who went missing 2 weeks ago in Narok has been recovered at Narok River at Nchura village. The man is alleged to have drowned after going on a drinking spree with his age mates 7 kilometers from his home. Friends and family of the deceased have been searching for the body for a fortnight with the help of Naivasha divers who gave up hope, believing that it had been carried downstream due to the heavy rains.
Kulikuwa na shida imetokea, kuna mtu alichukuliwa na maji. Sisi kama watu wa Malaka tunaona tumetenga sana na serikali juu. Wakati marehemu alichukuliwa na maji, hatupata divers wa kumtafuta.
Hii mambo ya pombe, mahali naitwa Sanam Gurudi, imeshinda kabisa na mambo ya pombe. Watu wamekatana na kisu juu ya pombe ya haramu. Na nataka niombe OPSA kama DO, kama yeye iko nafasi ya kufunga watu mambo ya pombe,
In Garissa, a case in which Garissa Governor Natif Jama was supposed to appear for a plea in which he is accused failed to off after the court said it has no jurisdiction. Resident Magistrate Victor Asio said he has no jurisdiction to deal with the matter. Natif and 6 others are accused of failing to comply with the law relating to the management of public funds, Section 1963 of the Public Finance Management Act, by executing a contract with the Kenya Red Cross E-Plus Unlimited for provision of ambulance services to the county government, incurring an expenditure of 62,400,000 shillings to the county government, of which no budgetary has been made. The magistrate set the date of 15th of this month and also refused to issue a warrant of arrest as requested by the prosecution. Moving on, KUTV's very own Ian Abdul Malik Oyondi and his blushing bride Fatuma Binti Musa tied the knot yesterday in an intimate ceremony at a renowned Nairobi mosque, after which a colorful and exciting reception ceremony took place at the Nairobi West prisons amid an exciting gathering of friends and family.
The celebrations were taken over by the women, as per Islamic tradition dictates, who beautifully and colorfully adorned, sang and danced vigorously in commemoration of the auspicious occasion. The blushing bride and groom were not left behind, as they danced and celebrated with their guests, eager to start a new part of their lives together. Despite the difference in the two families' religious backgrounds, the groom's family was overjoyed to accept Fatuma as their own.
Changamoto ni kuona kijana wangu kwa akiwa kama Muislamu, ingawa tutazidi kuelezana kifamilia, tutaelewana.
Oyondi's mother was quick to dispute the families that discouraged their children from marrying outside their tribe and religion. She claimed that those days are long gone, as we now live in more free and cosmopolitan times.
Today, we want to make sure that we break the barriers. We are breaking barriers in religion. We are breaking barriers in the culture, the clanism.
This union serves as an example of unity amongst people regardless of culture, tribe, or religion.
To me, it's very normal, and I want to encourage my fellow parents that you don't cause problems, you don't cause obstacles. Kama watoto wamependana.
Ian Abdul Malik Oyondi and his bride have therefore served as excellent role models for the public at large, and their family, friends, and the entire Kenyatta University fraternity commends them. Amanda Moniki, KUTV.
All the way from Kenyatta University, KUTV News at 9, we say congratulations to Ian and his new wife. We wish you a beautiful marriage. Now we're moving on with the news bulletin tonight. It is very exciting when one of us gets married. But tonight we have asked you a viewpoint question before we take a very short break. After court naming its team and Jubilee yet to do the same, do you think the two sides will reach a consensus on IEBC stalemate? Now we have one message coming in from Valerie Sherin. You're saying you're from Nairobi. You're saying no. These are two opposing parties that will never agree because of the corruption in the Kenyan politics. Thank you, Val, for sending your views. Now, you can do the same as Val has on our SMS number 22766. Share with us your views and your opinions as a democratic Kenyan, and I will sample that at the end of the bulletin. We take another very short break. We come back with more. Don't go away. Moving on to some international news tonight. Gunmen holed up in a central Mogadishu hotel for more than 12 hours, killed at least 10 people in the latest attack in Somalia by the Al-Qaeda group, the Al-Shabaab. Now, some Some very latest business news is that in the business news today, we will start off with commodity prices in various towns in Kenya. The price of cereals such as millet is rising as 190 kilogram of bag goes for 7,200 shillings in Nairobi, Kisumu, and even Eldoret. Now that's the latest in business. We take another very short break, but we come back with the latest in sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back to KUTV News at 9. And now we bring you the latest in the world of sports, where the Kenya Premier League end season transfer window officially opened today. This will allow local Premier League teams to adjust their squads ahead of the second leg action. The window had been postponed earlier due to Madaraka Day holidays yesterday. Some of the clubs that are said to benefit from this season break are Sofapaka, Nairobi City Stars, and Thika United, who are languishing at the bottom three with 7, 10, and 15 points respectively.
FC Leopards coach Ivan Minat will also need to make some changes to his squad after Gor Mahia caught up with them and are enjoying a tie of 29 points on top of the league. Up to now, some few moves have been made. Ulinzi star midfielder John Jonte Nairuka has been signed by Posta Rangers. Baron Okecha waits his complete move to the defending champions, Gor Mahia. Some players have left their clubs in search for greener pastures while others wait. In January, during the preseason transfer window, a total number of 195 players were transferred, with Gor Mahia emerging as the biggest spenders with 4.35 million Kenyan shillings. Rwandan Jack Tuyisenge was the most expensive player.
I tell you, the Green Army is cartwheeling in the rain.
Now, still moving on in sports, world best footballer Lionel Messi today appeared in court with his father to defend themselves from tax fraud charges. Messi and his father, George Horacio Messi, are facing 3 counts of tax fraud and could be sentenced to nearly 2 years in prison if found guilty of defrauding Spain's tax authority of 4.1 million euros from 2007 to 2008. They're not likely to face any jail terms, but could be fined and made to forfeit possible future tax benefits. Both deny wrongdoing, and the money owed was already paid back.
Lionel Messi arrived at court in Barcelona on Thursday morning to address charges of tax evasion. The 27-year-old and his father, Jorge, stand accused of defrauding Spain over 4 million euros in taxes by using tax havens to conceal image rights earned between 2007 and 2009. Tax authorities are asking that both serve nearly 2 years in jail for the offense, but the public prosecutor is only pursuing Messi Sr. The two deny any wrongdoing. The Barca star denies all knowledge of tax evasion and claimed in his declaration that he never read things before signing them. Jorge Messi, who is the principal focus of the trial, has been insisting that this was the case, but the Spanish authorities claim that Lionel was nonetheless aware of the methods being taken to conceal revenue. His signature appears on incriminating documents. Messi and his father made a voluntary payment of 5 million euros, equal to the amount of the alleged unpaid taxes plus interest in August 2013, which is expected to mitigate any sentence if they are found guilty.
That's it for the sports wrap tonight, and of course we've also come to the end of our bulletin, but we had asked you earlier on the Viewpoint question tonight. After CORD naming its team and Jubilee yet to do the same, do you think the two sides will reach a consensus on IEBC stalemate? Thank you very much for sending your views and your comments to our SMS number 22766. Allow me to sample one of your opinions. We have Sam Biko from Thika. You say, yes, I am a positive Kenyan, and I believe that if the opposition and the Jubilee government will be able to reach a consensus, I as a Kenyan will be happy and free. Thank you very much, Sam from Thika, for sharing your views and your opinions. We continue to encourage you to do so, even on Facebook and Twitter at our handle at KUTV. You can also follow me at Anki Doris, and we continue to interact and keep you informed all the way. For now, let me say good night. See you again tomorrow. Until then, stay a good Kenyan. Good night.